Scott just made the point. Jeff Jefferson used to be a lot more secure, not just.
He was always the Kirk to her Spock, the John to her Yoko, the Nick Charles to her Asta. That's right, Bill Clinton, the beloved former 42nd President of the United States, was supposed to bring the human element to Hillary's campaign with the stirring speech, the ability to connect, to feel our pain, the very things Hillary oftentimes seems to lack. But is Bill still up to the job? Can he still connect, or have we lost that love and feeling for the man from Hope? I'm Steve Green, this is Trifecta, and with me now to take a look under Bill Clinton's long shadow, Scott Ott and Bill Whittle. Gents, there's been just a deluge of stories and pictures and video over the last few days about Bill Clinton and whether he still seems to have that indefinable it, that je ne sais quoi he once had, even with voters who probably should have known better. But these days, the Wall Street Journal says that the big dog has been fixed. The New York Times said he seemed to be on a tight leash at a recent appearance, and the Associated Press called him subdued. But I didn't really believe that Clinton might have lost his stride until I saw this ABC News video of him with reporter Cecilia Vega. Let's run this.
Donald Trump says your past is fair game. I've got to ask you, you keep coming up on the trail with him. Is it fair game?
The Republicans have to decide who they want to nominate. I'm trying to tell now the Democrats in the country who I think Hillary would be the best president. And I think there's always a temper to take the election away from the people, so I'm just going to give it to them.
Just stunned silence. I haven't seen Clinton with a deer in the headlights look like that since Monica Lewinsky, that deposition almost 20 years ago. But, you know, this was just a routine question from probably a pretty friendly reporter. Scott, is it possible that the consummate living politician of our age is past his prime?
Well, first of all, I think like me, a lot of our viewers probably looked at that and thought, oh my goodness, look at Bill Clinton. What's happened to him? I mean, I haven't seen him since he played Dr. Cliff Huxtable on TV. And he just looks so much older now that I remember. You know, frankly, I'm not even sure he heard the question. Do you see the way he's waving his hands like that? I've actually done that because I have a little hard of hearing, and sometimes I miss it. But I think Bill Clinton has always been a charm for Hillary, and now that charm may have lost its power. And it's not just because he's old, it's because of the combination of who he is and who she's trying to pretend to be. And so she's going to run as this great feminist champion with really the only reason to elect her is to have the first female president. And here you bring this guy out who has done nothing but denigrate women all his life, and she's been his enabler.
Wow, that is a tough spot. You know, a big challenge, speaking of women, for Hillary this fall is successfully keeping together the Obama coalition. And the most dependable Obama voters are younger, single women who they're really too young to have many memories of the 1990s, which, of course, was the last time Bill and Hillary dominated the political scene. And as it turns out, Hillary doesn't poll nearly as well with younger women voters as Obama does. So the hope had been that Bill, you know, with his rakish charm and all that, would be the one to help Hillary make that connection. Well, with that in mind, Bill, I want you to take a look at these pictures from the Daily Mail of the young women. And of course, this is an event, so they're screened and selected. These young women standing behind Bill Clinton at an event in New Hampshire this week where he was stumping for Hillary. Bill Whittle, that is. Now, you've written and spoken extensively on iconography, the power that imagery has to influence people, to set the narrative. Is there anything you think we can learn from those images we just saw?
Oh, yeah. One of the reasons that Obama was the first person to master this, usually when a president gave a speech prior to Obama, the president would be up there in front of a podium or flags or whatever. But Obama realized the power of having people behind him, audience members, who, by the way, got to look at nothing but the back of his head during the speech, right? You'd see a whole stage full of people behind him, and they'd all be smiling, and they'd be cheering, and they'd be applauding. And psychologists have a term for this, and it's social proof. And the social proof is saying, hey, look, everybody else thinks this guy's a genius and hilarious and kind and wonderful. So we probably, even if I don't agree with him, those people think so. It's essentially, you know, it's the same thing as a laugh track. If you listen to some of these old sitcoms before they shot in front of a live audience, you take away the laugh track, it's horrible. You take away the live audience reaction out of Seinfeld or out of Friends or out of Cheers, and the show's just flat. The people laughing give you a cue to think that it's funny. And so that's why they would have people on the stage behind Obama, because everybody was supporting him and smiling and looking at him lovingly. Now, to get to the pictures that they just showed about the girls, this is an entirely different example. These young women look at him like he's some old skeeve, because he is an old skeeve. And you look at the look on these young women's faces. See, here's the problem for Hillary. Somebody said that something like 25% of the eligible voters, women voters and male voters too, I guess for that matter, don't remember the Clinton presidency. And they're shocked to hear that Bill Clinton has all of these horrible record of abusing women. They're shocked. So this is where I think Hillary's in real trouble. We actually have 3 trifectas this week, all of them kind of on the Hillary issue. But I think the problem for Hillary is Bill is not an asset anymore. When Bill was in his prime, he was a young man, he was a charming man. Now he's old, he's thin, he looks like he's losing a little bit of his mental acuity from the clip you showed earlier. And he is turning into a major liability, I think, because when people think fondly of the Clinton years, they think fondly of the politics of the Clinton years. It was the end of history. We just defeated the Soviet Union. We had the peace dividend. Al-Qaeda hadn't happened yet. It was a decade where everything was rosy and fun, and the economy was booming as a result of all the Reagan stuff. And everybody was fine, and they look back on it and think it's great. These young voters don't remember those days. All they see is kind of a creepy old man who's not got the charisma he used to have, and every single day some new revelation comes out about some other woman that he abused or fondled, or in one case allegedly raped. And this is going to be a major, major problem for Hillary.
You know, Bill, you made me think that if Bill Clinton had been president in the 1890s instead of the 1990s, his nickname probably would have been Old Skeeve. Anyway, folks, everything respectful I might have wanted to say about Bill Clinton as a former president, I probably would have said in 2010, 6 years ago, when he worked hand in hand with former President George W. Bush on the Clinton-Bush-Haiti Fund. Everything gentlemanly I might have wanted to say about Bill Clinton as a husband, and don't laugh, I probably would have said in 2008, 8 years ago, when he defended Hillary from every vicious attack by the Obama team. And everything appreciative I might have said about Bill Clinton as a president, I would have had to have said, well, in 2001, that's 15 years ago, when the nation he just finished presiding over seemed to be prosperous and at peace. Everything nasty I could have said about Bill Clinton as a person, well, I'm sure I said it in 1998, almost 20 years ago, during the Monica Lewinsky scandal. And anything smart I might have said about Bill Clinton as a campaigner, I first reported to my radio listeners back in 1991 and 1992, a quarter of a century ago. So when you hear Democrats talk about the tired old politics of the past, believe me, they know. For Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, I'm Steve Green.